I know, exactly. I don't know.
I'd like to welcome everyone out this evening to our regularly scheduled city council meeting for the date of Monday, June 20th. It is just after 7 o'clock, so we will call this meeting to order. We're excited. There's a lot of excitement in the room. You can hear it, you can feel it, so it's good to have so many people here. I have a good feeling that a little ways in there won't be nearly as many people here as there are now. You're welcome to leave at any time and we won't be offended. So, at least not a lot, maybe just a little. So we'd ask if everyone could please stand. We'll have an invocation offered by Reverend Don Brown, the Caldwell Friends Church. If Reverend Brown would please come forward. And then after that, we'll have a pledge of allegiance to the flag.
Why did we come together tonight to meet together to discuss and to make decisions regarding our community and our city? We thank you for the privilege we have of doing this peacefully. We pray that you'll help in all the discussion, all the decisions that are made. We thank you for our mayor and our city council, each one who participates tonight. May you give them guidance and direction. May the things they make and the decisions they make, may it benefit us as a community and a city. So may your hand rest upon us, may you guide us in all that we do. Amen. Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Reverend Brown. We appreciate you being here and starting us off this evening with that prayer. Madam Clerk, if you please call the roll.
Aldridge.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Doty.
Here.
Scotty.
Here.
Register. McKee.
Here. Very good. So the record reflects that we do have a full council and everyone is here and present in person this evening. Are there any conflicts of interest declarations from any council members for any items on the agenda? Does the record reflect that there are no conflicts of interest declarations? We do have a few special presentations tonight. So we have annual update. We do have 3 of them, so we would ask that as you do come forward, please take that into consideration. So you can limit your comments to the necessary comments you have this evening, that way we won't be here too late into the night, into the early morning tomorrow. So our first one is an update from our Pathway Bike Route Committee. You'll come forward and take a few minutes to share with us that, and then after that we'll have our Idaho Transportation Department update report as well. So it's the Pathway Bike Route Committee. If you just state your name and.
Hi, my name is John Abelhoff, and thank you for the opportunity to give a brief report about the Caldwell Pathways and Bike Route Committee. I came to this area in 2012, taking the vice president position at the College of Idaho. I was attracted to this excellent liberal arts college that plays such a role in the state. I was attracted to the natural beauty of the area, especially the area around Lake Lowell, where I live and put about 5,000 miles a year on my road bike. And I was also attracted to the burgeoning wine industry in Sunnysville. To be honest, though, I wasn't particularly drawn to downtown Caldwell, and the locals I talked to didn't have much to say for it. But over the last decade, Caldwell has transformed itself, and it's increasingly a destination. People come for Winter Wonderland, for the Indian Creek Event Center, for standout restaurants like Amano, and for the booming wine scene. A decade ago, people might have said it couldn't happen, but it did. And today, I'd argue people might say that Caldwell will never be a city that is a model for biking and walking, for safe, attractive streets, that foster non-motorized travel as outlined in the Caldwell 2040 Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan. But with your help and the same can-do spirit from all of us, there's no reason we can't also make this dream a reality. The Pathways and Bike Routes Committee is responsible for monitoring and implementing that master plan. We take this role seriously, and we see our planning responsibility as touching on several things. It's about safety, making our streets, our routes to school and to work safer and more convenient. The master plan says safety is the main purpose, the highest priority of this plan. It's about health and recreation, encouraging our citizens to get out on their bikes, in their sneakers, enjoying the great outdoors and the natural beauty of Lake Lowell, Indian Creek, and the Rotary Ponds. It's about accessibility. The master plan emphasizes the need to provide people an alternate mode of transportation and circulation throughout the city. And it's about competitiveness. It's about making Caldwell a more attractive community, a place where families want to live and are proud of their city. And it's about tourism and the dollars that it brings to the city. The master plan also highlights an important principle, including continuity. It says facilities should be continuous and interconnected. Disjointed systems, no matter how aesthetic, will not be effective, it says. And it also talks about connections to popular destinations. These touchstones outline the way for Caldwell to transform its streets, its pathways, and its bike routes, and to transform our culture from one totally car-centric to one that fosters non-motorized movement. If you're wondering why we need a bicycle and pedestrian master plan, I think the answer is simple. We need a blueprint for making Caldwell a city for everyone. We need to anticipate the continuing growth of our area and the demands that citizens will continue to make for access, for safety, and recreation. And as the amazing success of Destination Caldwell and the revitalization of our downtown is to continue, we need to be smart as we plan for non-motorized transportation. If you're wondering why we need a Pathways and Bike Routes Committee, the answer again, I think, is simple. We need committed citizens who will help us enact that master plan, who will help shape the vision for safe streets and connected routes throughout the city and the area, and who will continue to research and advocate for best practices in this area. Ideally, this citizen committee will also be joined by dedicated city staff members whose job is focused on pathways and bike routes. The city of Caldwell can be proud of the progress that has been made in recent years. We have nearly 3 miles of pathway along the Centennial Greenbelt. We have a crosstown bike route featuring shared roadways and 2 pathways that connect Canyon Hill and Sacagawea Elementary with key destinations, including the library, several schools, and the YMCA. We're close to extending the pathway from Ustick to Homedale Roads at Valley View High School. But it's also important to recognize just how minimal that progress has been. According to the master plan, Caldwell has a grand total of about 7.4 miles of bike lanes in our roadways and another 7 miles of dedicated pathways. Our budget is $40,000 per year, and as you well know, that allows for very little in the way of new projects. A good example of that pathway is the pathway project nearing completion from Ustick to Homedale, slightly over a mile in length. This 2-year project will cost about $80,000. So 2 years of our PBR budget devoted to that 1.3 years a mile. It's clear that if the city really intends to meet the ambitious goals of the master plan, have addressed the ambitious goal of creating an event center in a rejuvenated downtown, it needs to make a much stronger commitment in personnel and budget. By way of contrast, the city of Meridian budgets around $500,000 a year for pathways and bike routes, Eagle about 200,000, Napa at least 100,000. So how could the city and this committee make a difference in fostering non-motorized travel? Again, connectivity is a big one. The city has, with foresight, required new developments to include pathways. But for the most part, these pathways are not connected to each other or to city pathways. Pathways are nowhere, basically. We should be making connectivity a priority, not just for our developers, but for the whole city. Again, access to attractions. The master plan envisions a vast network throughout the entire city, easily accessible to all city residents for their use and enjoyment. That will link them to our city parks, public institutions, adjacent cities, the Boise River, Lake Lowell, and areas of commerce. We should be thinking about how to create pathways to get people safely and easily on foot and on bike from, say, 21st Street, from the College of Idaho, and from the fairgrounds to the Indian Creek Plaza, or ways to bike from downtown to Rotary Pond. We should be looking at the non-motorized routes our children take to school. Are we doing the best we can to ensure their safety? Why not make the canal pathways all over this area accessible to our kids and families in ways that are agreeable to the irrigation companies, but that would allow folks to cycle and jog off our increasingly busy roads? Again, the vast network in the plan that I would remind you isn't a fantasy. It's not just recreation. It's part of building on the success of the past decade as a way to revitalize our downtown and to make Caldwell a truly attractive community. A special note in the master plan is the goal to create a safe route from Caldwell to the major attractions of Lake Lowell and the Deer Flat Wildlife Refuge. Several things to note here. Major grants from the Federal Lands Access Program have already made a huge difference around the Lower Dam and Lakeshore Drive. The additional project will do the same in the next year or so for parts of Orchard and Indiana Avenues leading to the visitor center. The committee is hoping to get a planning grant from the regional planning group Compass to continue improving access around Lake Lowell in this great resource for all of us. And as you'll hear shortly, ITD is also planning a major widening of Highway 55, Carter Road. The committee has been working hard to get ITD to provide an aspect of the major plan, which would be a safe way, most likely an underpass at Montana and Carter, for cyclists and pedestrians to get from Caldwell to Lake Lowell. Again, imagine this grand vision of a safe bike route from Canyon Hill past the Y, going under Carter, and all the way to Lake Lowell. Would be great. I'll end where I began. Achieving the vision of the master plan seems remote, difficult, pie in the sky, just as the vision for a transformed city center seemed a decade ago. But I'd argue that the same can-do spirit and a commitment from the city can make this vision a reality. And in doing so, the city will not just reinforce the gains that have been made over the last decade, but will multiply them, ultimately bringing us increased health and safety, and also a boon for our businesses, for tourism, and for our reputation as a destination in the Treasure Valley. I thank you for this chance to talk to the council. Our committee would love to continue the conversation with all of you. If possible, we'd really like to be able to schedule a work session with you to discuss the master plan and where we can go from there. Thanks again. I really appreciate the time. Look forward to talking more.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your service on that committee. We know it's not a paid position, and so we appreciate your volunteer on that. So before you go, are there any questions from any of the council? Okay, very good. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, so that moves us on to our next special presentation, which is an update report from Idaho Transportation Department. Welcome.
Welcome, Mr. Mayor, members of council. My name is Vince Trimboli. I'm the new Planning and Development Services Manager for ITD District 3 here in the Treasure Valley area. And I'm really excited because this is my first time and all these people showed up. I know for that, so I'm stoked about that.
ITD brings the crowd.
We certainly do, but usually not this big one. So tonight, we have a couple of projects on the docket, and because of your big crowd, I'll try to work my way through this pretty quickly. So if you have questions after and you need to get a hold of me, I know Debbie has all my contact information, and we can meet up and talk. And I know I've got a meeting with the mayor coming up toward the beginning of next month, so please feel free to get a hold of me anytime. Quarters next time. So tonight we're going to talk about a couple of really exciting projects, and there is some nexus to what the last gentleman talked about in both of these projects. Tonight's presentation, we're going to talk about State Highway 55 Farmway to Milton project, which is a design project, as well as I-84 Karcher interchange. We wanted to throw this in there because this is a major improvement that will be a great connection in the middle of this county. And then we'll talk about the public meetings that we have planned for both of these projects. ITD is working to develop final design plans for widening State Highway 55 from Farmway Road to Middleton Road to 2 lanes in each direction to address the rapid growth that we see right now in our community. Construction is anticipated to start in 2024. And this project has several key goals. Number one, we want to add capacity to really address growth and congestion and increase mobility, especially on the State Highway 55 corridor. We want to help motorists get on and off the highway as safely as possible. So this is a great opportunity to gain access control and make sure that we have safe access on and off of the highway system in the State Highway 55 corridor, and then address pedestrian and bicycle improvements. Here's a map of the corridor. These improvements include widening the highway to 4 12-foot lanes and dedicated left turn lanes at all the major intersections, adding a raised median and a right-in, right-out turn throughout the corridor, especially at 10th Avenue and Middleton, or from 10th Avenue to Middleton. Adding a 10-foot bicycle and pedestrian pathway on both sides of the road as well. This will all add up to greater mobility for all the road users. And this gentleman here talked about bicyclists, but there's also pedestrians, and this is a growing community, and as we build out this roadway, we know more people will move into the area. And it's important to note too that that bicycle and pedestrian pathway is buffered, so it will have about a 3 to 5 foot buffer between the roadway and the pathway. The Farmway to Milton project, these are the next steps up on the screen. We're going to have a public meeting on July the 7th. I'll talk more about that later. We're going to start purchasing right away our property in late 2022. It's going to take about 12 to 18 months to go through that process. We have quite a bit of right away to purchase here, and so it will take some time, and that's why we haven't nailed down when construction will exactly start, but we're looking to begin that in 2024. And you can see there on your screen for more information. You can go to our website. We have an email address set up as well as a phone number there, and we are very responsive to both of those. So if citizens have inquiries, we check that daily and make sure to get back to them with their thoughts and their input, as well as any of yours as well. I'm going to switch gears now and go to the I-84 Karcher interchange project. Similar goals to what we saw for State Highway 55, improve safety, alleviate congestion. Safety and mobility are the top 2 pieces of our 3-part mission statement for the Idaho Transportation Department that you see at the bottom of the screen. And when you can improve both of those, you also improve commerce, because you make it easier for folks doing business during the day to get where they need to go to ship our agricultural products around the world as well. And then we want to provide, an additional westbound lane on State Highway 55. I'll show that in a minute. And then also improve bike and pedestrian access as well. So here's a map. You should all have this in front of you. It is a fact sheet, and it includes kind of the layout of this map, so you can read it. It's the I-84 corridor on the front. It might be easier to follow along with me on that. There are several improvements. I'll go through these pretty quickly. Number 1, in the green up top, we want to reconfigure the westbound off-ramp and add a free running right. Also also going to add a third westbound lane, as we talked about, from the westbound off-ramp to Sundance Road. I should advance that, so. There we go. There we go. And that's the bottom green box, and that's important to note, because that'll create greater mobility, over, the interstate. And that means that in the blue box, it talks about widening the interchange bridge to accommodate that additional lane. And that additional lane will run all the way to Sundance Road, and when we get to about Cassius Street, we'll start to neck it down, and then come to a signal there at Sundance. The fourth part of this is that top white box, reconfiguring the eastbound off-ramp to eliminate the free running right and add additional right and left turn lanes. In that peach box, you'll see that we're adding a pedestrian flashing beacon on RFB at the I-84 eastbound off-ramp. In addition, that bottom of the two white boxes, we're adding a dedicated right turn lane at the intersection of Karcher and State Highway 55 and Caldwell Boulevard. A lot of people call it Karcher, a lot of people call it State Highway 55, but right there at 55 and Caldwell. And then a couple other things to mention here, adding a new side path from Caldwell Boulevard to Middleton Road, and that'll be another pedestrian improvement, bike improvement. And then when we're all done, we're gonna come back through this and we're gonna add new asphalt across the entire project. So we're not just gonna chunk it up and then, leave what was there. We're gonna come back and do a complete overlay across the entire project. So what's next for this? Again, we'll talk about the public meeting here in a bit. We have to finalize design plans and begin to purchase the right-of-way. It's only about 8 parcels, and it's in that pathway area. So we feel like we can get to construction a little more from a year to now, in the fall of 2023. So the meeting is on July the 7th. It's a drop-in meeting from 5 to 7 at Anthem Christian School. There is an online option. We companion all of our in-person meetings with online options. This one's gonna last about a week, and you can go to itdprojects.org and look up the state, or the Karcher Interchange Project and find out the information there. And that online meeting will allow people to see all the same exhibits they see at the meeting. There's a video, I'll guide people through it, as well as, along with the video, there's a chance there to make comments. So just like you could come to a public meeting and give your input, you can give your input online as well. And that does it for me. I just want to say I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I plan to be in this position for a while, and I look forward to working with all of you. I know ITD and the city of Caldwell have a great historical partnership, and we look forward to working with all of you. Our district engineer, Caleb Lakey, along with our residency here in the Caldwell area, Shauna King runs that, and I look forward to being a part of that team and working with all of you. Mr. Mayor, stand up for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Vince, really appreciate you being here, and I got to meet Caleb a few weeks back, and that was great, and I think he's probably part of that meeting too, that coming up,
Yes.
so I know, I'm excited for that, just kind of give a heads up on that. It kind of was a perfect segue into that. I'm not sure who planned that, or if it was just apropos, but looking at, providing connectivity is huge. ITD is instrumental in that throughout the city, providing, so that people can get around, for exercise, reduce vehicle miles on the road, different things like that, and getting people more active. I know I had the opportunity to meet with Nikki Zog, who runs Southwest District Health recently. We talked about, what can we do to encourage people to get out and be more active. And that project came up about that tunnel going underneath Highway 55, so I'm excited to talk to you guys about that, make sure that we're in conjunction with that, because that is, I know, a high priority project for the city to make sure that we get that, just to provide that connectivity. I mentioned that basically it leads it from almost downtown Caldwell all the way up to Lakeville. And so excited to work with you on that project. And getting that tunnel, I think, is just so important, because people don't want, especially as you mentioned there, the number of crashes and things like that. People do not want to walk across, even with the signal there, walking across Highway 55 is just not, safest, obviously, even with that, especially if your kids are riding their bikes up and things go through. So just what councilors are looking at, trying to put a tunnel in underneath as they do this project, so that you don't have to go across Highway 55 and go under it, provide a lot safer route to get to Mallard Park, to Lake Lowell, all of those communities out there. We're excited for that. So I'm excited for that meeting to talk more about that. That's enough for me. Any questions from the council, any comments?
Very,
Councilor McGee.
thanks, Mayor, just very quickly, thanks for working on getting that tunnel for my kids so they can go back and forth, Mr. Mayor. Vince, we're so grateful that ITD is getting this project done. It's a long time coming. As you know, I have a history on these ITD projects, but I think Councilman Stonick and I are particularly interested in this section of the road because we drive on it virtually every day. You said construction will begin in 2024, but obviously there's some things yet to be decided there. Are you anticipating that it would be, it's one of the questions I get asked a lot, and I think Councilman Stonick does too. Are you anticipating that will be in 2024 around the time that the weather is able to, work in the weather? Do you have any other thought about when that might be? I don't want to pin you down, but I do want to emphasize time is of the essence, and just see if you have any more information about that, Vince.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember McGee, trying to pin down the new guy, I like it. Well, I can tell you this, we generally try to start our projects, as soon as possible in the year, right? The construction season, there are two seasons at ITU, right? The winter season and the construction season. So we try to start those, in that March, April timeframe. And I'm sure that's what we would shoot for, but we are kind of at the mercy of purchasing the right-of-way. So, we're always gonna try to go as quickly as we can. This project is a part of the Transportation Expansion Congestion Mitigation Program, and we've really pushed that ball down the field. We just got the funding barely a year ago now, and we're already sending projects to construction and projects like this to design and almost through final design. So, I can promise you that will go as quickly as we can.
Vince, you'll pass on to Director Nath that early 2024 would be great.
Well, I'll tell him that, but he retired. Yeah, so I'll tell Director Stokes that though. But I'll call Brian, I'll tell him in a second.
Very good. Anything else?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Stonick.
I was off of, South Indiana and South Florida about the last 20 years, so, we've attended many meetings. I'm sure, Mr. McGee is aware of them too, and promises were made and nothing ever happens, so I know don't shoot the messenger, especially the new one, right? So, anyway, I was just curious, are you gonna have a bypass on either Homeville or Orchard when you start this project, or is it just gonna be one side or the other on 55? Do you know what that is?
I do not know the answer to that, but I can ask and find out for you, Councilman.
Because like I say, it's, most mornings is backed up from usually Middleton all the way back to sometimes Lake Avenue now, so, I would think that a bypass would really be important on Homedale or Orchard, so.
Do you mean, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Stock, do you mean a frontage road or a bypass?
Well, detour, how's that for a detour on either Homedale or Orchard?
Okay.
During construction, I don't know, just two lanes, I don't know, we'll be able to take the traffic coming out of Marcy and the other areas going into either Napa or, Boise, so.
And I think that was during the construction.
Yeah, exactly, I'm assuming.
Whether you're moving.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what the detours look like. I mean, we're a bit away. I don't know if we've finalized all the traffic plans, although I know we are already starting to work on the traffic situation. I actually asked about that in a meeting the other day, but I can find out and I'll get back to you with an answer.
That would be great. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much again for coming, and I look forward to meeting you again soon.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, so we do have two final special presentations, two wrapped into one. So we do get to swear in 5 of our new firefighters for the Caldwell Fire Department. We're excited to do that this evening, and excited to do that here as council, to recognize them and to welcome them to the family. And then also, so I will, we'll bring those up, and then I'll have the privilege of swearing them in, and after that, we'll turn the time over to Chief Frawley for retirement presentation for Chief Tim Scott, 26 years of service. We've got 5 new ones coming in and 26 years going out, so.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, City staff, members of the Caldwell community, Rick Frawley, Fire Chief. I just wanted to take a moment and extend our thanks to the community for bringing our 5 new firefighters into service. They just entered into their probationary period 2 weeks ago. I'd like to invite Cole Stein, Brian Walker, Matthew Bazell, Tyler Hislop, and Mike Aguilar to please come up to the front. And if you have a family member to pin your badge, please bring your family member up.
have you sit over here, yes, in front of the flag, and the Caldwell logo will be.
So we'll swear you all in at once, and then after that, we'll have you come forward one at a time. You just go to the mic, tell us your name, who's here with you, if you have somebody that's with you, and then just getting off the demo, hopefully without any cash. Okay, raise your right hand. And then after I say aye, you just fill in your name on that. Repeat after me. I. solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Idaho. That I will faithfully discharge the duties of firefighter of the City of Caldwell according to the best of my ability. Congratulations. Start here at the left. If you want to come forward first, you just introduce yourself and who's with you, and I'll go with you.
My name is, Cole Stein, and this is my girlfriend, Haley Reynolds.
My name is Brian Walker, and I'm joined by, Chief Crowley here. Good night. Good evening, my name is Tyler Hiswell, and I'm joined by Chief Raleigh as well. My name is Mike Caldwell, and also Chief Raleigh will be pinning me today.
Matt Bizzell, that's my wife Sandra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The festivities are not over. We're also celebrating the career of Battalion Chief Tim Scott. Tim just retired from the Caldwell Fire Department after 26 years of outstanding service to the community and outstanding service to the firefighters that he has served on these ships. And I wanted to take a moment to introduce Chief Scott and his family, if they could come up front. Chief Scott. I find it's important to recognize the family because often the family is something that is forgotten in the fire service, and it's important to me for us to remember the sacrifices that families do make when our people are away from home, and and serve the community. Often that rests on the shoulders of our family members, so it's great to see them up here. I'd like to invite Chief Scott to the microphone.
Thank you. It was, an honor and a privilege to work in my hometown and serve my community. Best thing that ever happened to me besides my family. So thank you for the opportunity. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief Scott. We have a presentation. This bugle represents a piece of the command on the fire ground. It's a little known fact that on the fire ground in our fire history, the command officer would have a bugle, and the bugle is what he would use, or she would use, to issue commands on the fire ground. So it's very fitting that we have the command bugle being passed off to Chief Scott in his retirement. Thanks.
And before you go, Chief Scott, do you mind introducing all the family that is here tonight? You recognize them as well?
So, this is my wife, Terry, 42 years, the nicest person I've ever met. My son Daniel, and my son TJ, my grandson Braxton. My grandson Bryson, and, Darren. Yeah.
Okay, so this is our daughter-in-law, Tabitha. This is our grandson Marshall, granddaughter Madison, daughter-in-law Layla, granddaughter Ryan, granddaughter Kaylin, grandson Braxton. Did we get everybody? Oh, and there's Tracy, and our other grandson Talon. So, yeah, so this is our great family.
Very good. I just want to say thank you again for your service, your community, to the city, to your family, and putting up with that for all those years. I know it takes a toll. It does. And so we just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and how much we appreciate you, how much we appreciate all of our firefighters. I think it's awesome that we have, this is the fun stuff that we get to do and to be a part of it. So we're grateful for that, and just wish you nothing but the best in your retirement. So, keep them busy, put them to work. So I'm sure you will, so.
I'd also like to say thank you to CPD for keeping my guys safe, and to Kane County Dispatch, they're the first responders, they're the ones that keep us safe. These guys kept us safe. I'm forever grateful to you guys. You guys are really good. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, we have one final piece. The communications is going to be broadcasting a piece for Chief Scott.
Good.
Caldwell Fire Station 1, 2, and 3, and Battalion Chief 141. This will be a final radio call for Battalion Chief Tim Scott. Attention all units, this is a final radio call for Battalion Chief Tim Scott. 141, thank you for your 26 years of service to the Caldwell, Notice, Houston, and Greenlee communities. It has been a privilege to work alongside of you. Chief Scott, your Caldwell Fire family will miss you. We wish you the best as you enjoy your well-deserved retirement, and we will take it from here. Canyon County Clerk, 101940 hours.
Okay, well, I don't think it gets much better than that, so I think it's just downhill from here, but we do have some other great things coming up, so, we appreciate Chief Scott so much, his family, that was awesome, so thank you so much, and thank you, Chief Raleigh, for helping put that together, so, that was fantastic. Okay, so do we have any audience participation, from anybody in the audience that is not on the item on the agenda tonight? Okay, very good, then that moves us to our consent calendar. I don't believe we have any changes on that, we do on the old business, that's on the old business. So, do we have a motion for adoption of the consent calendar?
Second.
So, a motion from Councilor McGee and a second from Councilor Shattuck. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll? That is correct. So, grab your clickers. We're gonna see if Councilor Doty's name is still bigger than everybody else's, if he's been humbled yet, so. Okay, so the motion is to approve the consent calendar, so you can click the, when it pops up. Now, I think we can open for voting. Okay, so go ahead and lock in your vote. Very good. So the votes are locked, voting is closed, and yes, it passes. Surprise, surprise. So, very good. Yeah, we're getting there. We're just gonna streamline here quick, and we'll get it up and going. Okay, so that moves us on to, so that approves the consent calendar. So that moves us to old business, and we do have, an amendment to that, continuation of request. So, we will need a motion to continue those two items of the old business item number 2 and number 3. This will be continuation of the next city council meeting set for Thursday, July 7th, at 6 p.m. And, just a real quick, so, Mr. Clark, our building official, is gonna present these, is not able to be here, is not feeling well, so that's the reason for the continuation. So do we have a motion? In a second? So a motion from Councilor McGee and a second from Councilor Doty, to continue old business items number 2 and 3 to the turn of Thursday, July 7th at 6 p.m. here in the chambers. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. So we do have one item still left on old business, and that is to consider corrected bill, old business section item number 1. Consider corrected bill number 62, ordinance number 3381, for case number ANN 21-15. The request to waive the rules, pass on the first reading, and approve the summary for publication. I'm guessing there was just some grammatical errors. Is that correct? It's called legal description here. Okay, very good. Do we need any further presentation from staff on that? Okay, very good. So just correcting some legal description errors on this. So, we do need, a motion to waive the rules and pass on the first reading and approve the summary for publication. First of all, we need a motion to waive the reading process. Also, we need to read the title. This is an ordinance determining that certain land lays contiguous to the city limits of the city of Caldwell, county of Canyon, state of Idaho, and that said land should be annexed to the city of Caldwell, Idaho, as part of the R2 medium density residential zone and C1 neighborhood commercial zone, declaring said lands by proper legal description as described below to be a part of the city of Caldwell, Canyon County, Idaho, directing the city engineer and planning and zoning director to add said property to the official maps of the city of Caldwell, Idaho, repealing all ordinances, resolutions, orders, or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and directing the clerk of the city of Caldwell to file a certified, strike 2 tonight. Repealing all ordinances, resolutions, orders, or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and directing the clerk of the city of Caldwell to file a certified copy of the ordinance and map of the area to be annexed with Canyon County, state of Idaho, and the Idaho State Tax Commission pursuant to Idaho Code Section 63-215. So do we have a motion to waive the 3 reading process?
Mayor,
Yes.
I move that we waive the three reading process and conduct bill number 10, ordinance number 3404 on its first reading by title only.
I believe it's bill number 62, ordinance number 3381. So, yeah, look at number 1, I think you read number 3.
I correct that. It would be bill number 62, ordinance number 3381.
And there was, so we had a motion from Council President Allgood, second from Councilor McGee to waive the three reading process and consider bill number 62, ordinance number 3381 on its first reading by title only. It is up and ready, so go ahead and lock in your vote. Very good, close the voting. Voting closed, and the motion passes. So do we have a sponsor of bill number 62, ordinance number 3381?
Mr. Mayor,
Council President Allgood.
I'll sponsor bill number 62, ordinance number 3381, and move for its passage and approve the summary for publication.
Is there a second? I have a motion from Council President Allgood and a second from Councilor Doty to sponsor and approve bill number 62, ordinance number 3381 on its first reading, and approve the summary for publication. It is open and ready for your votes. Lock that in. Very good, and close the vote. And that motion passes as well. Very good. So that concludes the old business item. That moves us on to new business, action item number 1, which I know we're all very excited about as well. So with that, we'll turn this over, I believe, to Councilor Register. Is that correct? You want to?
Mr. Mayor,
Okay, yes, Councilor Moon.
I move that we consider the appointment of Rex Ingram as the Caldwell Police Chief with effective date of July 5th, 2022 through January 2026.
Very good. Very good. So we have a motion from Councilor Williams and a second from Councilor Stodic to approve the appointment of Rex Ingram as the Caldwell Police Chief with an effective date of July 5th, 2022 through January 2026. Discussion on the motion.
I do.
Yes.
I have something prepared. Thank you. I cannot possibly sum up all of whom Lieutenant Ingram is in the short time that I have to speak, but I'm going to do my best so that you can get a glimpse of who could be leading our incredibly talented and devoted officers and civilian staff at the Caldwell Police Department. Of the 6 applicants that the mayor chose for the interview committee, it was no surprise that Lieutenant Ingram ranked as one of the top candidates by many of the interviewers. While it is important to note that Lieutenant Ingram has over 20 years of law enforcement experience in both sworn and voluntary positions, it is also important to know that Lieutenant Ingram is a 5th-generation police officer in his family. He wears his badge proudly as a servant leader and in honor of all officers who wear it with him. Lieutenant Ingram began his public service career as an EMT while volunteering with the Explorer program for the California Highway Patrol. His leadership qualities were immediately recognized, and his promotion to that program led him to be hired by the Los Angeles Police Department, where he was assigned to patrol in South Central Los Angeles and has since served in various roles in various divisions, including the Rampart, Newton, Olympic, Foothill, and Hollywood divisions. Lieutenant Ingram has served in multiple high-ranking positions and also as a youth services officer, where he mentored at-risk youth, gang members, and developed relationships with community stakeholders. Through that dedication and relentless pursuit of youth development and community outreach, he was able to bring the once-plagued Rampart Division into a new realm of community-based policing while rebuilding the trust lost by the department in this area. His efforts were recognized by the First Assistant Chief of the LAPD, and his commanding officers noted that it was his work that created drastic change in morale, productivity, and overall performance. Lieutenant Ingram served on the gang impact team as an investigator in the Hollywood Vice Unit, and eventually as the commanding officer of the Professional Standards Bureau. He co-authored the LAPD's Supervisor Guide to Complaint Investigations, assisting in high-profile and complex discipline cases of misconduct. Lieutenant Ingram was also a field sergeant in Watts and the commanding officer of the Risk Management Division. As the assistant watch commander in Newton, his team was responsible for decreasing Part 1 crime in that area by nearly 20%. He has also been involved in the Below 100 program, as well as getting every police vehicle outfitted with the seat gap filler device. Lieutenant Ingram has been recognized numerous times for his commitment, organizational, and motivational skills, and chosen to lead hundreds of officers during times of civil unrest and high-profile visits to the city. He has been entrusted to implement his leadership style and systems that he created in divisions of the LAPD that struggles with high crime and reduced morale, and has done a tremendous job uniting officers, restoring morale, and reducing crime through his leadership and team-building mindset. Lieutenant Ingram was also charged with overseeing the Community Safety Operations Center, as well as served as the Bureau Training Coordinator. In this role, he developed crime-fighting strategies for 5 areas of command in the city, as well as coordinating all the training efforts for 2,000 employees. Lieutenant Ingram possesses a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice Management from Union Institute in University Leadership. He has attended the prestigious USC Executive Leadership Program and has attended the Pepperdine School of Law Dispute Resolution course for law enforcement managers. He has successfully graduated from the FBI LEADA Supervisory Leadership Institute, the Los Angeles Police Department's West Point Leadership, and the Sherman Block Leadership Institute. Lieutenant Ingram has over 5,000 hours of formal law enforcement training and is a post-certified instructor and has overseen the LAPD Watch Commander Leadership Cadre for the past year. He has been an active member of the Latin American Law Enforcement Association and the Oscar Joel Bryant Foundation. He has received over 100 commendations in his career, and he continues to build community trust as a highly emotionally intelligent leader. Lieutenant Ingram was also awarded Department's Officer of the Year in 2014. Rex has already lived in the Treasure Valley for the past 2 years with his wife Vanessa and their 2 sets of twins, 1 set of boys and 1 set of girls. While Rex was born in Los Angeles, he was partially raised in Cabo San Lucas and is bilingual and has an appreciation for the diversity in Caldwell. He is very active in our communities here in Idaho and volunteers his time in the classroom, coaching sports and spending time with his family both at home and the great outdoors. Rex has proven that his commitment and dedication to public service is unparalleled and believes in the mission of law enforcement will provide him the best life for his family here. I am very excited to support Lieutenant Ingram's appointment to Police Chief for the Caldwell Police Department, and with the Mayor's permission, would like to invite him to come forward and address the community himself.
Please come forward, Mr. Ingram, and take a few minutes, and also, I'm sure you'll do this, but to recognize those that are here with you tonight as well.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Register. Better than anything I could have ever said. Thank you, Council, thank you, Mr. Mayor, thank you all the appointed officials and City Caldwell staff. And I first want to say, thank you to everyone that's in this room that has stood fast with me and really were instrumental in getting me to where I'm at today. Particularly my wife, my family, some of my former bosses that are in the room, a lot of my mentors, friends, and all the community stakeholders here that are unsung heroes in this process. This process has been very, fun and interesting the last couple months, and I'm just honored to be here. I am super excited at this opportunity to lead the men and women that are standing back there, sitting back there, the Caldwell Police Department, that are brave each day to go out, and they represent what this badge means. The badge is up on that wall right there. No matter what the badge looks like in this world, the community expects one thing and one thing only: professionalism. And that's something that I'm going to be proud to lead the charge on in the City of Caldwell, is to restore that professionalism, that community trust, and to keep Caldwell moving in the right direction and make sure that we're all invested in this together. This is a collaborative effort. I'm honored to be here, and I just want to say thank you to the firefighters, congratulate Chief Scott for his accomplished 26-year career with the fire department, and also to congratulate the 5 firemen that were just sworn in today. I think they've already left the building, but outstanding job. I have nothing else. In the interest of time, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm very honored, very privileged, and I just want to say that the vision for this organization is going to go in the right direction. It's going to take all hands on deck to do that. I hope that we're all on the same page and we can get through this. And all of our civilian staff who don't ever really get recognized, thank you. You know who you are in the room. Thank you very much. All the police officers who risk their life every single night so that the people in Caldwell can go out there and sleep well at night knowing that they are standing between evil and good. And lastly, I want to say, with the rise of mass shootings in the United States of America, the tragic shootings in Uvalde, one thing that I can bring to the table is a lot of training and just an overall mindset of response to those types of incidents, specifically with school shootings. One of the most important things to me is ensuring that all of our children, as a father of 2 sets of twins that are grade school age, that they go home safe every day, that they're secure, that they feel safe, and the parents that are dropping them off know that their children are gonna come home at the end of watch at their end of their school day. And that's what I stand for. Lastly, to, mis gentes, latinos, saludos y buenas noches. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Very good, thank you so much for those comments, Mr. Ingram. Thank you very much, Councilor Register, for your comments. Is there any other discussion? With that, we will actually, I prefer that we do a roll call vote on this, so you can put your buttons aside, and Madam Clerk will call the roll. So this is for the appointment of Mr. Rex Ingram as the Caldwell Police Chief, effective date of July 5th of this year through January of 2026. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes.
Register,
Yes.
Allgood,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Dottie.
Yes.
Very good, motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Chief Ingram. And congratulations to our police department, you have a chief again, so, yes, we are excited for that. So it's been a long time coming, so worth the wait, so very excited, for Chief Ingram and what he will bring to the city. We've had some great conversations already, I'm looking forward to many, many more great conversations. And I committed to him, and I commit to all of you that I will support him, and that I will provide him all the opportunities he needs to be successful in this position. So, this isn't about any individual, this is about the city of Caldwell and our residents. And so, we will work together and we will make, Caldwell just even better than what it is now. So I'm excited to support you in this position and wish you nothing but the best. And excited to get you home so that your wife doesn't get to kick you out for a week every now and then. So he was commuting, just so you know, he was commuting to LA, from Eagle, Idaho, every week to go and serve down there. So he gets to come home. So I'm sure you're very excited. So a lot more honeydews on the list, I'm sure. Yes,
Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Ingram, did you bring some friends along with you? You might introduce them.
Yes, thank you. Well, I think they kind of invited themselves, but. See who's here. I'm a little tired, but, from the front row is,
You'll stand up, please, when he introduces you.
Deputy Chief Bob Green, retired from LAPD. He was the Chief of Staff for the Los Angeles Police Department. Captain Tony Oda was my boss at the University of Southern California at the Coliseum. He was basically the incident commander for all the Rams and USC football games, and I worked directly for him. My neighbors, Leo and Donna Lemlin. Fabulous neighbors, they're awesome. My golf buddy, who was actually friends with Leo, Coach, is his nickname.
Retired coach.
One of my best friends, Sean Solbog, is a lieutenant with Boise PD. He lived with me for a couple months while he was transitioning to the department. We spent 8 months together in a leadership school in Northern California, that's where we met. And, he's a lot nicer than he looks. My dear friend Jake Vogt, he's the captain with the Ada County Sheriff's Office. He's the commanding officer of the jail, the largest jail in the state of Idaho. Thank you, Jake. He's been instrumental, a very big mentor of mine, and has acclimated me into the lifestyle of Idahoans, and so I don't slip up and be a Californian. Thank you. And then one of my best friends was actually one of my mentors when I was a CHP Explorer, back when I was 15 years old. Brian Orcutt, who's now a deputy with Ada County Sheriff's as well. He did a very long tour in the CHP and was one of a few dog handlers in the entire state of California. Who am I missing?
Your wife.
Vanessa. She's the rock in my life, the glue that keeps everyone together. You know, I gotta say, and I don't wanna be cliche about it, but she literally has been a single mom for the last 10 years of our relationship. We've been together almost 18 years. She's raised 2 sets of twins, and she does a fabulous job. And I wouldn't be able to do and get the accomplishments that I would be able to have in Los Angeles had I not had a partner that's holding the fort down at home in the way that she does. And so for her, I'm forever blessed and thankful, and all of my friends here in the room know what I'm talking about, because she lets them know that she misses me sometimes, and she needs a dad, and she needs a husband to come home. So, thank you. And my brother-in-law, Dominic, that's her brother, he's a deputy in Northern California, he rides a horse. My buddy Todd in the back on the right, he's a canine handler from Newport Beach, California. He actually lives in Meridian and also commutes as well. No, he doesn't wanna come here. Just kidding. Who else? Everyone in CPD, you guys have been there for me through the last several months in this process. Some of you guys have reached out to me. Thank you very much. I stand for exactly what you guys represent each night, all right? Like Councilwoman Register said, I'm a 5th generation police officer. My dad was shot in the line of duty, working LAPD, and my wife's father, my brother-in-law's father, he was shot 6 times in a robbery in the line of duty. My uncle was shot in the line of duty. So this badge is very near and dear to my heart, and what it represents and what you guys do each night, the thankless jobs that you do each night. You come to work and you put that badge on and you say bye to your families, not knowing that that might be your last night on earth. So thank you for that. And hopefully, I can lead you guys in the right direction and give you a little bit of love to get you to the next level and put Caldwell back on the map and where it needs to be. So thank you very much. Who else did I miss? No one? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chief Ingram, and I think that's a testament to those that are here. I imagine a few of them came from California. I could hardly talk my friends into coming up for my wedding from another state, so to come up for that just shows, I think, the character of Chief Ingram, the way he's gonna serve, our people, so we are so excited for that, and again, congratulations. So the swearing in will be next Friday, July 1st at 11 a.m. here in this room. So we're gonna do that swearing in, and then he will officially take over, on July 5th will be his first day, working here, for the police department, so we're very excited, so, yes.
Can we just take a second to acknowledge, the great work that Lieutenant Wright has done holding down the fort with, Lieutenant Rice as well as Lieutenant Winfield. I don't think anybody knows how hard they've been working just to keep the police department together and motivated and moving forward while we went through this search for a chief. So thank you for that.
And I saw a lot of heads nodding in the back of approval to that, Councilor, Register, so yes. We appreciate all that everyone has been doing, filling in from Lieutenant Wright, I see Lieutenant Wright back there, I don't know if Lieutenant Winfield's here, and to all of the police officers that have been stepping up. So kudos to all of you for what you've done, so we couldn't have done it without you. And again, just so excited for the future of the Caldwell Police Department, so very excited. Okay, so that concludes new business action item number 1. Now it's really downhill from here because all of the good stuff is really done. So that moves us on to action item number 2. It is good, but it's not nearly as good as that one. So that's actually, no, this one is good. That's right, we still got more good. I was looking one further down, so this is just a good night all around. So is Carol presenting this? Is she here? No, she's here. Very good. So again, if you need to leave, feel free to do so. We understand on that. We'll just continue on. So new business action item 2, yes, is awesome as well. So this is a recognition of our employees, the amazing work that they do. This is considered a resolution authorizing the adoption of amendment to the City of Caldwell pay and position scale and authorizing mid-year 10% pay increase. You heard that right, 10% pay increase to non-union employees effective for the pay period beginning June 19, 2022, with a quarterly cost of approximately $377,068, and authorizing a mid-year 10% pay increase to union City of Caldwell Fire Department employees, contingent upon union contract negotiation agreements effective for the pay period beginning June 19, 2022, with a quarterly cost of approximately $77,179. And I'm pleased to say that the negotiations with the fire department have been going very well, from what I've heard. So that's, I think, a breath of fresh air, and looking forward to continuing that and finishing those off. So, yes, this night just keeps getting better and better. This is fantastic. So, I'll turn it over to Mary Kay and to Carol. We're going to tag team this. So, Mary Kay is with our HR department, Carol's our finance director.
Okay, sorry. I'm Mary Kay Morrison. I'm with the HR department. This is my first time doing this, so please
have some patience with me, Carol's here to help me. So we are asking for this increase to, help the city, it will help enable us to become more competitive in the labor market, enhancing the city's ability to, fill approximately 22 current vacancies that we've had. Some of those, positions have been vacant for more than a year. So we do feel that this will go a long way towards helping us staff the city and help overcome some of the short-staffed areas that we've had for quite some time.
Okay, excellent job. Any questions for Mary Kay? Okay, Carol, do you have any additional comments, or?
I'm always waiting for that one question.
I was not gonna move for it.
Thank you, that one question.
I had some phone calls today about that already, so.
Yes, so, as we have discussed throughout our budget workshops last week, the funding that we are looking to use to achieve this quarterly, payout, well, it's not a payout, this quarterly, implementation of the pay raises is, we are trending right now with about almost 7% increase in collections from sales tax. So those departments that are receiving the sales tax revenue would use that increase in those collections to be able to cover, the cost over the next quarter for that department. And then as we are looking into the future for the budget, the sales tax projections that we are projecting, as well as some other revenues from other departments would be able to support these increases that, are being prepared and proposed tonight. Those departments that don't receive the revenue from sales tax, we're also looking at fees. So your city fees, we're also seeing a trend in we're seeing an increase in our fees in the sense of collection, not fee increases, but in collection of fees for our services, with movement into our community. So increase in residents have now added to our water, sewer, trash fees. So those departments then will be able to accommodate those increases as well. Those departments that don't receive these two types of revenue sources, then we would look to, for this quarter, one-time use of fund balance in order to get them to the new budget year. And then in the new budget year, we are looking at other resources for those covered services for these increases.
Very good, excellent. So it sounds like new growth things for growth. I like that. Any other questions for Carol, or any comments?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Councilor Stock.
Just wanted to thank Carol and her crew for all the hard work you put into to make this thing happen, because I think the most important part of this is, at least the phone calls I've had the last couple of days is, we're worried about property taxes going up and everything else, and they always ask how we're gonna pay for it. And I think you folks have really worked hard to make sure that, the taxpayers don't get saddled with all the costs and everything, and fund balances and impact fees and all the other things that we looked at through our budget process. So I want to thank you and your crew for that.
Thank you so much. Any other comments? Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Register.
do I need to read the whole?
No, I don't think so. You can just make a motion to approve it.
I make a motion to approve it.
Very good. Is there a second? So we have a motion from Councilor Register to approve it, and a second from Council President Allgood. This for action, or new business action item number 2. And I think, are we going to, is this a roll call? Very good. No, we can do a voice vote on this one. So all those in favor of approval of action item number 2, indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Item passes. Very good. Okay, now it's coming down here. That was good. Yeah, in big bright letters, that's right. So, and I think that just goes to show how much we appreciate the mayor and the full city council. We have several staff here, obviously there's a lot more than ours. But hopefully that shows to you that we are actions, not just words. So we are gonna try to get things done that we can. That's a big step forward right there for all of our employees, for those we're trying to hire. We've had positions that have been vacant for over 12 months. And so this should help with that as well. So we're very excited with that. I appreciate council, As we've gone through the budget discussions and looking at those, and, they take these things very seriously, which they should. But this was long overdue and very excited, and again, just a thank you to all of you for sticking around here with us and starting to see some of that. So we're excited for the future, what's still to come. So thank you so much, and thank you to the council for that. So that completes action item number 2, and moves us on to action item number 3, which is consider bill number 28, amending chapter 2, article 9, section 295 of the Caldwell City Code, pertaining to the organization and bylaws of the golf board with a request to waive the rules and pass on the first reading. Are we doing any? All right, so, I'll just kind of go over it real briefly. So this, we were able to, I was able to meet with, the president of the Lake Golf Association, who had some concerns on the original wording and how we had it, so we made some amendments that simplified it, so it allows them basically to set the meetings as they see fit. Minimum, just, so the minimum, I think, is important, is there 4 meetings throughout the year, but they have the ability to add to that, choose their dates. During their last meeting of the year, they'll choose the dates for the coming year, so they can do as they feel appropriately. We didn't want them to feel like they're hamstringing them, or not allowing them to meet as they felt was necessary. So that was those changes in that regard. Is there any questions or any discussion? Okay, with that, is there a motion to approve, or to, or wait? That's right. Okay, are we waiving, this is a 3 reading process, okay, so first of all, I will read this bill, an ordinance by title only, and then ask for a motion to waive the 3 reading process. So this is ordinance number 3422, bill number 28, an ordinance enacted by the Caldwell City Council amending chapter 2, article 9, section 295 of the Caldwell City Code, pertaining to the organization and bylaws of the golf board, providing for an effective date, providing for severability, and repealing all ordinances, resolutions, orders, and parts thereof in conflict herewith. Do we have a motion to waive the 3 reading process? So moved. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion from Councilor Stoddard and a second from Council President Allgood to waive the 3 reading process, ordinance number 3422, bill number 28. Voting is open. You can lock in your vote. Very good. Vote, close the voting. And motion passed. Very good. Do we have some, councilors who would like to sponsor ordinance number 3422, bill number 28? Go for it, go for it.
Move to waive the 3 reading process for bill number 28, ordinance number 3422.
Okay. Starts out kind of the same.
Number 28, ordinance number 3422, title only,
Approve the summary for publication. Okay, so I have a motion from Councilor Doty and a second from Councilor McGee for the sponsorship of bill, or ordinance number 3422, bill number 28. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Roll call? Okay, sorry, I didn't see that there, so.
Sorry, this one, it will come up.
Okay, so we'll just do a roll call vote.
Doty,
Yes.
Alden,
Yes.
Dottie,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Register.
Yes.
Very good, so that passes unanimously, so ordinance number 3422, bill number 28 has been adopted. So that concludes the action item number 3. Moves us on to action item number 4, public hearing. This is a request by Dairy Gold Inc. to vacate public right-of-way on a portion of Albany Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, located in the southwest quarter of section 22, township 4 North, range 3 West of the Boise Meridian, Kane County, Idaho, being a portion of existing dedicated public street right-of-way as shown on the revised map of Caldwell, filed for record as duplicate plat book 1A, page 5, official records of Kane County, Idaho. This request was made to facilitate the rebuild and expansion of the existing Dairy Gold plant. Mr. McDonald, I guess you're going to do a quick presentation on this one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. It will be very quick. Hold on. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just briefly, what the request is here is Dairy Gold, located at Albany and 5th Avenue, has requested to vacate a portion of Albany Street between 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue. The purpose of this vacation is to facilitate future growth
for their, plant. As you all know, they had that, large fire, I think last summer, or maybe it was in the fall, I can't remember when it was now, but it wasn't too long ago. And anyway, after that occurred, they had to decide what they wanted to do to rebuild and whether they were gonna stay in Caldwell and what their options were. And so one of the requests was, to be able to rebuild and utilize both sides of the road, with the amount of pedestrian traffic they have going back and forth and the utilities, that they have out there. They requested that vacation. And so that would be from this intersection right here, this edge, back to this edge. This issue, or this request was brought to Traffic Commission, several months ago. Traffic Commission reviewed it and determined that it was, that it would not harm the transportation system in the city to vacate that section of Albany Street. There are some utilities, public utilities, that would either have to be relocated or placed in easements to be protected. This water line section here, I believe, was planned to be abandoned, and then instead it was gonna run up Sixth Avenue to tie in here. With that would just help their growth. They would be required, as I recall, to maybe do some curbing gutter improvements to help close that off so that people know that it's not an open street anymore and that it's more privately used. They do have equipment out here in the road a lot and trucks and things, and so that is the intent of their request. As I mentioned, Traffic Commission approved the request, and it is now before City Council to make a decision, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions, Council? Yes, Councilor Godey. You said they may do some better and curbing, or are they going to?
That is a very good question. We had discussions with them a while back, and I apologize, this is, Brent Orton's item, and so I'm covering for him a little bit. What we had told them was that there would be some curb and gutter work that would be required along Fifth Avenue. They still want to have some access into Albany Street off Fifth, but it could be narrowed up quite a bit so that it would clearly not be a through road. And then there would likely be some curb work down here at Sixth Avenue. The extent of the curb work required, we don't know yet because we haven't seen a layout of what the final proposal is. But we certainly want to make sure that we get installed what's needed, to make it clear to the public that that is no longer a public street and a through access.
Yes, yes.
And who do you anticipate going to pay for that?
Very gold, or is it going to be?
All of the expenses to the vacation would be Dairyville's responsibility.
Yes, Councilor Scott.
Mr. McDonald, do they plan on any brick and mortar on that street too, or is it just gonna remain a street, do you know that?
To my knowledge, there are no plans for actual building construction within that street area. But I do believe there's quite a bit of utility work and things like that they wanna do. And they may be taking portions of the asphalt out and putting in more pedestrian type facilities. But I'm not aware of any bricks and mortar.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments, questions? Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Mr. McDonald. Okay, so this is another bill, right, and ordinance. So we need to waive the, well, I guess, we need to, oh, that's right, sorry. So we do not have anybody who's visited public hearing item. There's nobody signed up in favor, neutral, or in opposition. So with that, ask for a motion to close the public hearing. We can say that, two motions and a second. So, motion from Councilor, Doty, a second from Councilor Stoddard to close this public hearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. So with that, we need to, do I need to read this by title only as well? Do you have that, or do I have it? That's a little shorter. Bill number 34, ordinance number 3428, an ordinance reciting petition for vacation and reciting appropriate notice given a public hearing determining a vacation of said public rights of way in the city of Caldwell, Canyon County, Idaho, described below, shall be made, and determining a vacation of said following rights of way are in the best public interest for the city of Caldwell, Canyon County, Idaho. Do we have a motion to waive the three reading process and consider bill number 34, ordinance number 3428 on its first reading? So moved. A second? We have a motion from Counselor Stonick and a second from Counselor McGee, I believe, correct, on that. And we have it open and ready to go, so if you would like to lock in your votes for waiving that three reading process. Okay, lock the machine and reveal the votes, that motion passes. Very good, do we have a sponsor of bill number 34, ordinance number 3428?
I move to sponsor bill number 34, ordinance 3428. Ordinance passes by title only.
You're getting there, you're making well, on the two card. Is there, so we have a motion, is there a second? Second. So a motion from Councilor Doty to sponsor bill number 34, ordinance number 3428, and a second from Councilor McGee. The machine is open, if you'd like to lock in your votes. And voting is closed, and motion passes. Next, is there a motion to, done, okay, good, very good, okay. And that moves us on to action item number 5. Or 6. Yep, that was, wasn't it, so we on 6, I think so. Is that correct, before I get too excited? Okay, action item number 6, consider bill numbers, all these bills tonight. You guys are on your own. Consider bill number 33, ordinance number 3427, annexing a portion of property known as Brittany Heights subdivision phase 2 within the corporate city limits into the Caldwell Municipal Irrigation District of the city of Caldwell, Kent County, Idaho, changing boundaries thereof, directing engineer to alter the boundary map accordingly, declaring the intent of the city to pool the water rights and apply a uniform method of allocating assessments to charges, providing effective date with the request related rules to pass on the first reading. So do we need to waive the 3 readings on this? Okay, do we have a motion? Do I need to read the title too on this one? Oh, I just did. I just did, without knowing it. I love when I do what I'm supposed to without knowing it. So,
Mr. Mayor.
yes.
I move that we waive the 3 reading rule and consider bill number 33, ordinance number 3427 on its first reading by title only.
I can do it in a second. So, a motion from Councilor Alvin, second from Councilor McGee. Please lock in your votes. Votes to register, I was on that one, she was quick. So, Councilor McGee, oh, there we go, just took a minute, okay. Voting is closed, and that motion passes. Voting, Council President Alvin.
I'll sponsor bill number 33, ordinance number 3427, and move for its passage. And it does not appear as a summary of this one.
Correct, do we have a second? So, a motion from Council President Alvin, a second from Councilor McGee for sponsoring bill number 33, ordinance number 3427. The machine is open, go ahead and lock in your vote. And the voting is closed, and motion passes. And that concludes action item number 6, moves us to action item number 7. Consider acceptance of the finance report.
All right, let's do this. The finance committee has reviewed current accounts payable in the amount of $2,366,445.59 for the period ending June 8, 2022, and net payroll of $434,982.36 for pay period ending May 21, 22. I move that accounts payable in the amount of $2,366,445.59, represented by check numbers 162500 to 162751, and payable for the amount of $434,982.30, represented by check number 37289 through 37319. Direct deposits be accepted, payments approved, and vouchers filed in the office of the city clerk.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Acceptance, very good, so a motion from Councilor Doty, a second from Councilor Williams for acceptance of the finance report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Council reports, Councilor Register, I'll start with you tonight.
It's a big night.
Yes, yeah.
I was just gonna touch a little bit on the community events that we're doing. So the mayor and I were out in Manchester, Boston, I guess. I feel like Boston, Manchester. And the mayor's put together, events throughout the the city all the way until the fall, I believe, right, where the mayor and council member and other city leaders will be there, so I know, Councilman McGee and the mayor went to San Jose, we went to Manchester, and that continues, and I thought it was really nice to have some of the people come out and talk to us that we, have never met before, and we don't know, so, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being there, appreciate it. Councilor Scarlett?
Met with the Caldwell Veterans Memorial Hall Board this past Thursday, and there were some funds that they needed for general repair and maintenance on the building and some of the AC units, and I passed that, number on to, Mr. Orton, so he knows about it, and we'll take a look at it and discuss it with the board, so that's all I have.
Excellent, thank you so much, Councilor Doty.
Just been working with fire negotiations, they're going very well, we get an update on that today, and so Carol's been working around the clock on that as well as the city budget. So we appreciate all the work, and everybody seems to be cooperating and moving that along quite smoothly.
Thank you so much, thank you for serving on that, appreciate it, you did a great job. Councilor Williams?
Yes, got to spend an evening with Station 2, Team C of the fire department, and, really enjoyed that. I appreciate the work you've done, with finance to make sure they're taken care of as well, and the hiring and all of that that's going on. Boy, we're moving in the right direction, I think, and appreciate all the efforts they're making and you're making. Also had a good visit, with Destination Caldwell about their work on, wayfinding and parking signage, and it's exciting what they're, putting together, and I think we're gonna like a lot of that. It's just, everything's moving so well right now, and these are good signs. These are good conversations we had, and positive, just great stuff.
Thank you so much, appreciate that. Okay, sounds good. Council President Alden.
Nothing specifically from me tonight, except that I really appreciate what the counselor registered did this evening. That was very nice. I think that was, well done and a good introduction for the police chief. And, I just cannot tell you how happy I am. We have leadership in the police department, we're gonna start moving forward again. I think the officers need it and deserve it, and now that it's here, I think we're gonna see just great things out of the police department. So, thank you all for moving that along.
Lieutenant Wright might get his first full night of sleep tonight, and I don't know how many months, so he deserves it, that's for sure, so, Councilor Murphy. Very good, excellent. Okay, well, first of all, I think I need a new chair. This thing, I've taken it up and down, I don't know how many times tonight, so, was that, moved it over. Oh, man, so, let's see, what committee can I put you on? So, anyway, I feel like this keeps shrinking and shrinking, so, anyway. But yeah, no, tonight was a fun night. These are fun city council meetings, so we get to come and, recognize our new firefighters. We did it all tonight, recognizing the new firefighters, recognizing retired, fire chief that's been here for so many years and so much for the city, and it's so cool to see his family here, because we don't get to see that a lot, and especially with our, our fire and our police, that's, your families are involved 100% on that, and so it's neat to see that and be part of that. And then neat to recognize all of our employees throughout the city, with that pay raise for them. That speaks volumes. And actually, before we leave tonight, I'd like to get a picture with all of us, maybe with a thumbs up or something that I can send out to all the city employees, just letting them know, the great work that you all did for them tonight. I know that they'd appreciate that, and I think that'd be a good gesture, if you all don't mind. Yes, we can meet Carol in there too, so, flashing some dollar bills maybe, so, but like I said, it's just, there you go. So, it was a fun night. I'm excited for, our new police chief, or Chief Ingram, and I mean that 100%, that he's got my full support. Whatever he needs to succeed, I'll do whatever I can to provide that to him. I'm not gonna tie his hands, anything like that. It's his show, and I'm very confident he's gonna succeed. So excited for that, to be able to work with him, in that regard. So, all in all, a wonderful evening, and it's 8:30. It's fantastic. It means next city council meeting goes the same way. It'll actually be 7:30. They're starting at half an hour earlier, but maybe a reminder on that starting in July, we will be having our meetings on Thursday night. If you show up Monday and nobody's here, you'll know why. Indian Creek Steakhouse is open Monday night, so if you need to go there, I think they're only restaurant open on Monday. But Thursday's at 6, starting in July, so we're excited for that change. If you don't
Mayor,
Yes.
are you, is the Porter family available on Thursday night?
That has been a requirement, so.
He will be here, I will be working the late shift at the Caldwell Public Library.
We should check.
Yeah, that's right, I should have in the first place when we checked on that, so. But again, just excited, you have anything?
I'll find somebody to come.
Oh.
And just to echo Councilor Williams' comments, yeah, I think, you know, we're seeing some amazing things happening in the city, you know, in all regards, from the police to fire, you know, the relationship there, just, I had a great discussion with Chief Scott tonight. Chief Frawley's done an amazing job, and just, you know, the excitement that's just throughout the city. It's a great time to be here, to do what we're doing, so, it doesn't get much better, so, but we'll keep working on that and continuing to do great things. So thank you so much to everybody for that. So with that, stand for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Stand adjourned.